Hello again, everyone. Welcome to, what are we at now? The end of week 3. 3/5 of the way through. Needless to say, the newness and shininess of ODS and of wearing all the military uniforms and all of that. You know, I remember the first day that they woke us up and they were out there screaming and shouting at us. They asked us, what did that make you feel like? And one person had the gall to say, excited. And most of us were just like, oh my God, shut up. Why would you say that? Though admittedly there was a exciting part to starting ODS, but after 3 weeks, trust me, you're just kind of tired of it and you start looking at week 5 with anticipation. So without further ado, let's jump in. This week has been largely, well, for one, you, we, and probably you as well if you come here, it was khakis. So again, I'm not wearing them because it's late at night and it's hot and sticky around here. But yeah, you will be in khakis starting this week and pretty much through the end of ODS. It's going to be khakis. That's going to be the uniform of the day, though you still will wear this in the morning when you go to PT. So largely every day, before I jump into the nitty-gritty, has been pretty well the same, where you wake up at 4:15, get ready, muster outside, go do PT for about an hour, usually from about 5 to 6, and then do breakfast and hygiene, and then until lunch, you just are usually in a classroom. So you're in the classroom, so 2-3 hours, you do that, and then you go to lunch, and then you go back and you do it for the rest of the afternoon. You do 2-3 more hours of lecture, and then go do dinner. So staying awake has been a bit of a challenge this week. I can say we did get a couple extra privileges this week. Partway through the week on Wednesday or Thursday, they allowed us to start talking during chow. So beforehand, you had to just sit down and you had 15 minutes just to eat your food, and then you just had to sit there and 1,000-yard stare. Well, now we can actually talk with each other at the table, so that's nice. We can chat now during chow, and they also relaxed the attention on deck procedures. So beforehand, if a chief came on deck up here on the 4th floor, or if one of the officers, we all had to come outside of our hatches and say attention on deck or chief on deck. But they relaxed that this week as well. So as long as you are showing progress and that you are learning the basics, then they will start to walk back those rules and give you more privileges. So just keep that in mind for when you come here. Okay, so jumping into the plans, let's see. Monday, PT, muster, breakfast, yep, hygiene. We had a lecture on ethics, so that was interesting. We talked about different ethical systems, such as duty, which would be Immanuel Kant. We talked about utilitarianism with John Stuart Mill, moral pluralism, stoicism, relativism. So that was actually kind of an interesting one. And of course, people have different opinions. There's a lot of back and forth that happens during the lectures. Navy values, service dress, so learning how to do the service dress uniforms, what type of shoes, and for women, handbags, etc. Learning about Navy customs and traditions. So that was Monday. I don't think that was anything amazing or different. Let's see, I think this was Tuesday. Similar info, more lectures. Oh yeah, we had med and immunization. So they take your blood week 1 and then they get the results back, and from that they tell you what vaccinations you have to get. So everybody has to get the, I forget what they call it. It's basically the TB skin test, where they put this little bit of injection just under the very top level of your skin, and it makes this little like welt almost, but it goes away pretty quickly after an hour or two. And then they have to come back and read it 2 days later. So pretty much everybody gets that, just to make sure you don't have TB. And then there's other vaccinations you get, like Hep A, Hep B. There's tetanus, there's meningitis. There were vaccinations that people had to get this week. So that was fun to do. Makes your arm turn into a brick the next day. And I also woke up the next day just feeling like crap from muscle soreness, and I had kind of an extreme reaction to that. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. Khaki inspection practice. So we went out onto the football field, and it was the first time they had us line up and started talking about what the inspection process. So one of the things you have to do is pass khaki inspection, where they'll line you up and you'll come to attention and you'll salute, and they'll go around and they'll look at everybody's salute and they'll fix it if they need to. And then they'll look at every little bit of your uniform to make sure everything on that khaki uniform is correct. And then that's also when they will ask you your knowledge question. So that'll be this week, week 4 on Friday. It will be the khaki inspection. And you can get up to, just in case you're wondering, it takes 6 hits to fix. A hit is something they find that's wrong. If you get 6 or more, you fail. And that just means you have to come back and you have to get re-inspected later. They're not looking to fail people out of ODS. So you'll have to come back and do a re-inspection if you fail. But anything that's off on your uniform, such as like little strings, or if something isn't lined up correctly, or the spacing's off, etc. I'll talk more about that in the week 4 video. But also your knowledge, all of that gouge sheet that you have to study, such as the general orders of the century, the code of conduct, your chain of command, etc. That they can ask you, they will ask you 3 knowledge questions. So you can get up to 3 hits due to knowledge. So that is a bonus to try to study some of this stuff ahead of time, because just memorizing all this stuff does take time and it is a little monotonous. So that was Tuesday. Let's see, Wednesday was, so photos started. Photos takes about a week to do, and what they'll do is every day for a period of, I don't remember when it starts, it's like 4 hours or so, they bring people down and they actually take your photos, and those are in your whites. So they give you your option. You can either do your service whites, or you can do your choker whites as well. So you have the option of that, and you'll go down, they'll take your photos. I'll probably give you more info on this during the week 4 video, but they started that this week. I just haven't gone yet. So some people did start doing that. There was a midway check-in where they essentially asked us what is going well, what's been going poorly, what should they change for future classes. So hopefully, and they do listen to this feedback. So if you're watching these videos and coming to ODS yourself, hopefully the program just continues to get better and better and better for that. Started talking about the reserves. So I'm a reserve officer myself, and how the reserves work, what the structure of the reserves is, what it's like to do drilling and annual training. So they did start doing that on, what was that? I say Tuesday or Wednesday? No, maybe that was Wednesday. Okay, so that was Thursday. So I can't say too horribly much about Thursday, because if you saw the week 2 video, you'll tell that I was a little sick. It was not COVID. We were actually taking bets. It was just, there's a rhinovirus that's going around. So I found out it was a rhinovirus, but then I got the vaccinations on top of that. So I was already sick. I got the vaccinations, which is not a good idea to do. So then when I got up on Wednesday, I really felt like crap. By the end of the day on Wednesday, I just had to check out. It was a little bit too much for me. I actually became sick in quarters on Thursday, which is essentially where you put a note on your door that you get from medical, and it means that you are just staying in your hatch, your room, all day long. And you can still go to the head if you need a shower or use the bathroom, and they bring your food to you in these little styrofoam containers. So lunch or breakfast, lunch, dinner, somebody will knock on your door and they'll have a thing of food for you. But I probably slept 21, 22 hours that day. So to give you an idea of how exhausted you get. So yeah, I was kind of checked out on Thursday. But I can tell you what was on the schedule, at least for that day. They had a frocked admiral, so somebody who is a captain, and they have been selected for admiral. So they've been frocked for it, but they haven't actually taken on the title yet, or aren't officially an admiral. They came and they spoke to our class. Let's see. There was also more photos that happened, and then there was a whole, I was really sad to miss this, there was more info on the reserve. So occasionally they will break you up into reserves only and active duty only. So that was one of the days where they talked about what it was for mobilization, if you get mobilized in the reserves, or how you can also sign up for deployments in the reserves. So I actually need to get the notes on that. There are academic officers I'm going to have to talk to. So yeah, Thursday I was checked out because I was asleep the entire day because I was sick. So yay. But I am doing better now, just in case you're worried. And then, let's see, Friday, that was more photos. Let's see. Oh, power and influence. So different types of power and how you influence people. Because ideally in the military, you are not just saying, hey, look at my rank, do this because I'm your boss. That is one of the more toxic ways of leading. So talking about different methods of power and of motivation. So that was a good lecture. How to be a good leader. Like I said, a lot of lectures. But we had more things opened up to us for there's like the Marines run this little thing called the Gidunk, where essentially they've got a lot of different food and drinks and coffee in there that you can go in, you can buy. So that was nice. We had access to and could go in and buy pretty much anything in there. Let's see, look at my little notebook, family planning. So talking about ways of supporting your family and things that, a lot of resources out there for you to take advantage of. Oh, there was a neat law of armed conflict. There was a warrant officer who did that, meaning what are the rules of conflict? Because yes, there are rules of war and rules of conflict. So that was a neat lesson to go through. Power and influence. Already talked about that. Problem solving. Yeah, I did that already. Let's see. What else? Like I said, this week was pretty straight on. What else do we have? Oh, watch. I got to do my first watch this week on a Tuesday, which was fun because my watch ran from 100 midnight right to 2. So you have to get there a half hour early. So my roommate and I woke up at 11:15. We got dressed. We went down there. And then I did Rover, which is basically just walking the entire building. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes to do it, in case you're curious. We did our watch the first time. I also found out my next watch is going to be during weekend number 4, which is the weekend when a lot of people are going to Boston. So not quite happy about that, but, hey, it's the military. What can you do when you draw the short straw? Went over the photos. Those are pictures of my dogs because I insist they send those to me all the time. So I can at least talk about the Liberty. There's probably going to be other things to talk about too, but so we for Liberty number 3, things will open up quite a bit. They let us off base for this one. Now you do have to be in your khakis. and you can drink as well. They do have a rule where you can't drink, of course, if you're driving. You can't drink if you're under 21, and you can have 1 drink per hour, and you can have up to 3 drinks per day. So that's the rule: 1 drink per hour, up to 3 drinks per day. We got desserts back, so soda as well. So at this point now, we can have soda. We can, if we go to the chow hall, there's little slices of cake and pie and cookies and ice cream. We can get all of that if we want now. So that is nice. For weekend 3, basically, you just can't cross any major bridge. So you can go out into Newport and what is this? Port Smith, and Middletown, I think is what it is. So basically, you can leave the base, go out into town, but you can't go super far. You can go about a half hour, but you just can't cross any major bridge. You're not going to go to Providence. You're not going to go to Boston. Nothing like that. So my group, you get to know your wing pretty well. So my wing, a lot of us got together and Saturday, we went out and we had brunch together in town, and then we just kind of walked around a little bit, explored the area, and then we went and saw a movie. A huge chunk of us went and saw a movie together, Oppenheimer, if anyone's curious. Personally, I was not a big fan of it, but, hey, to each their own. And then we went out and had dinner and then got some ice cream and then came back to base. But that was a lot of fun. We were out for a good 8-10 hours total. So yeah, that was nice. What other rules? We got new wing commanders again, so the wing commanders had to switch. Divo and ADivo roles switch, so the roles here will switch up frequently enough. So if you don't start out with a role, you may get a role. We started talking about graduation as well. Graduation's in 2 weeks, and we're already starting to talk about special roles for graduation. There's like side boys and a bell ringer and a bell silencer, and I think it's called a boatswain. They play this little pipe, essentially. So we're already starting to talk about graduation as well. Let's see. You are not allowed to swim when you're out on Liberty because they don't want anybody drowning or getting massive sunburns. So just in case you're wondering, no off-base PT as well. You do have to do the buddy system, so you cannot go out by yourself. You have to go out with somebody at all times. Okay, yep, that's pretty well good for that Liberty. Like I said, this week wasn't anything super different or stellar that I'm thinking of. Yep, went out and ate. Went bowling again with some people. That was kind of fun. Gosh, I don't know if I immediately have anything else. It's, after week 3, we've gotten most of our privileges back. I can't immediately think of anything that I'm like, oh, we're missing. So we have most of our privileges for what we can do. They're being pretty mentor. They're not really being super mean or yelling at us a lot now. So that's nice. I think it's one of those things, as long as you get your stuff together and your class team is doing decent on getting people mustered up and going from A to B, they're going to let you run things and they're not going to get in your way. So, and like I said, we're already starting to talk about graduation, which is just a couple weeks away. So most of us are all looking forward to that. Oh, haircuts. I guess I got a haircut from the last one. So they do have a haircut salon here. It's about $13, I think, a person for them to do it. So that's not super bad. I don't know if there's anything else that I can immediately think of. This is kind of short for what my usual videos are. I can continue to emphasize the importance of, and I'm having a hard time with it too. Everybody's getting tired. These days are still long. It's still a challenge to, keep a good positive mindset, keep a good attitude, put in the work, put in the effort, put in the motivation. If the class team sees that you're doing that and you're not getting lazy, then you will get those privileges, and they're not going to take you to the sandpit or yell at you or anything like that. But if you start slacking off, if you start getting lazy, if you start making mistakes, if you don't respond properly, or just stuff like week one crap that you should have gotten out, then they could still tighten down, or they could still take privileges away, or my class is pretty good with that so far, but still keep a positive attitude. Try to deal with the stress of it, not freak out. Watch, even with my class, everybody's having to do watch at least twice, and the weekend watches, they suck. Now, you're only supposed to do weekend watch once, and like I said, unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to do it the last weekend, which is the worst weekend to do it. I'm still sort of pissed off about that, but oh well. You're going to have to watch probably at least twice, and you may have to do it on the weekend, in which case, you won't get to do your full liberty. But that's just kind of how the military is. So, if you guys have any questions or anything, put them down below. I'm trying to respond back to them. And if nothing else, then I will see you for week number 4. So, 2 more to go.